We'll get started here in about a minute. Give everybody a chance who's coming to come.
Stephen Baker won't be joining us.
What?
Stephen Baker, just to let you know, he let us know that he's hosting a site visit today, so he won't be joining
Oh,
us
okay.
from
All
the
right, then
hammock.
we'll get
Yep.
started. So, all right, we'll get started with the meeting. This is, it's April 21st. We're in the Government Services Building, Board Chambers. It's 9 o'clock, and you're at the Tourist Development Council meeting. That's the meeting you're at, in case you were wondering. And with that, I will stand and we'll do pledge to the flag. Always like to do a short moment of silence. Want to make sure that all the citizens of Flagler County remain healthy or get healthy. We want to thank all the police, fire, rescue, medical personnel who have helped us through these tough COVID times. We're making progress, and we want God continue to bless us as citizens. So with that, just a moment of silence. All right, we'll get on with the meeting. Again, welcome to all of you who are here. What I'd like to do is just to kind of do the quorum, but just have each of the members of the board here and the committee introduce themselves. We'll start with Lisa.
Lisa Robinson, General Manager at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Palm Coast.
Ryan Crabb, General Manager, Hilton Garden Inn.
Pam Walker, Walker Adventures and Travel Writer.
Palm Coast City Council.
Ken Bryan, City Commissioner, Flagler Beach.
John Ludrai, owner of Oceanside Beach Bar and Grill.
Felicia Cook, General Manager of Marine Land Dolphin Adventure.
Now it's, and I'm Dave Sullivan, Chairman of this particular committee, so we'll get on with it. I wanted to let people know that there is a mask requirement in the building, so to come in and out. Up here on the podium, we have enough room to be socially spaced, so it's up to you. When you're speaking, it makes it easy for people to hear you if you have your mask off. But as far as the requirement, we're socially distanced far enough, and if you've had the vaccine, et cetera, I think it's okay to, once you're in place in the podium or in the audience, if you socially separate from each other, it would be okay as long as you maintain the 6 feet to not wear the mask. But in the building, when you're walking around, in and out, that kind of thing, or you want to have a conversation with somebody up close, you should have your mask on. So I'll leave it at that. So to get on with it, the meeting minutes were sent out to the members. And so we can either read them, or I can have a motion from one of our members to approve them.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes as submitted. Any further comment on that? Changes or anything else? Nope, I don't see any. So I'm going to bring it back to the board. All those in favor of supporting the minutes as written? Oh, you do have. Oh, is that, maybe that's just something they sent me. Is that what?
Yes.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yes, I did. I just got that this morning. So there is one comment concerning the last meeting, and it's been provided to me. Should I go ahead and read the entire statement? Okay. So, at the January 20th, 2021 TDC meeting, the following item was documented as conflict of interest per Florida State 112.31434A. Item 7A, NCAA Pro-Am will utilize the Hammock Beach Resort as host hotels for their October 15th through 21st event. Stephen Baker of the Hammock Beach Resort, Director of National Sales, Hammock Beach Resort did not participate in the vote. Item 7B, continuing education spring conference will utilize the Hammock Beach Resort and the Hilton Garden Inn as a host for the March 29th through April 2nd event. Stephen Baker of the Hammock Beach Resort, Director of National Sales, Hammock Beach Resort, did not participate in the vote. Ryan Crabb of the Hilton Garden Inn, General Manager, did not participate in the vote. Item 7C, continuing education spring conference will utilize the Hammock Beach Resort and the Hilton Garden Inn as host of their April 5th through April 9th event. Stephen Baker of the Hammock Beach Resort, Director of National Sales, Hammock Beach Resort, did not participate in the vote. Ryan Crabb of the Hilton Garden Inn, General Manager, did not participate in the vote. And finally, item 7D, Florida Flag Football Battle will utilize the Hilton Garden Inn and will host their event on April 17th through 18th. Ryan Crabb of the Hilton Garden Inn, General Manager, did not participate in the vote. I'm sorry, I didn't see it there when I came in. And so that's in addition to the minutes from the last meeting. So
Yes, we just have to.
with that, now back, go ahead.
So do I need to add that we also participated in the April Florida flag football thing or whatever? The next one?
Oh, you are also participating. Is that right? But you voted.
April. No, I wasn't
No,
here.
she wasn't
Oh,
here.
you were, okay.
I just want to
Okay.
make sure.
So we should add her to the note. So we're going to add this, what I've just spoken, plus we're going to add that Lisa Robinson,
No.
what was your point about it?
I was asking, did I need to add that we were involved in the flag football thing over the weekend because I
I
wasn't
think
here to
not,
vote?
since you weren't here and you didn't participate in the vote. So it wouldn't have been in the minutes. Right. Day, okay, all right. You're keeping me square here.
But no, wait a minute, because I'm not in the one for today. I'm only in, I'm not in the
Okay,
flag football.
So we're back to the motion on the floor. We have to amend it
She,
to include what I've just read.
right, if I can, please. We have to read all that into the record with regards to all the 8Bs. Lisa was not here at the meeting, and so she did not vote on it. So
Right.
she didn't have to do an 8B form.
Nothing we
right?
have to add on her. either.
Nothing for today.
So just
If
what
she
I've read.
doesn't, when we get to the flag football for summer, if she has a contract already with them, she will then speak up. If she doesn't, she's free to vote.
Okay. So, back to the amended now.
Okay. Move to approve as amended.
Second.
And we have a second. So, the minutes, the vote now is to approve the minutes as amended from the January 20th meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the financial reports, I guess, Amy, are you going to go forward with the financial
Sure.
reports, starting with the revenue report?
Yes, we'll do the revenue reports. We got revenue for the month for March, but keep in mind it was activity that primarily happened in February. So February, we were down 24, almost 25%, which leaves us at still up for the year, 8.53%. Now, there's not many things I can guarantee. However, I can guarantee that in March and April, we will be up in revenues since we were shut down for half of March and all of April. So we're looking forward to that. But so obviously, those numbers will be very high.
Amy, just so I didn't miss it, you said in February we were down 25% from previous year?
Well, it's March that the collections happen, but it was activity overnight stays in February. So we're a month behind. So when you look at March,
Right, but
On
what
the-
was the number that we were behind?
almost 25%.
Right. The reason I bring that up is in the newspaper, just reading that Volusia was behind about 22% in February. Previous to this meeting, we've been doing pretty well year to year as our deductions. So we have caught up with the rest of Florida, or at least the rest of the local area, as far as less income coming in.
Yes.
And it looks like that's going to be true for our February and March also.
Yeah, activity, so it'll be April collections for what happened in March, and we got the STAR report, which shows us data from all the highway hotels and the resort, and it looks fantastic. So that is a combination of a great weather for Bike Week. We also have, and spring break, and mainly what a lot of the highway hotels are seeing is new residents looking to move here, have bought a house, building a house, looking for a house. So it is growing.
So once we start getting numbers in for March, we'll see it starting to come
Yes,
back up. As we can
yes.
tell. But it, well, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And just in looking, a sneak peek into what happened in March, our ADR, which is our average daily rate, was higher than our neighbors to the north and south, which is good. And we were at 68% occupancy. And again, this is data from only highway hotels in the resort. And we haven't seen 68% occupancy in well over a year and a half, could be even more. So things are looking good, and we will take it while we can.
Right.
We've taken enough beatings.
So we need to approve the revenue report.
Okay.
So if I get a motion to accept it.
Sorry. I make a motion that we approve the report.
Second?
Second.
You have a second? I have to go out to public comment concerning any of the information provided for the revenue report. Seeing none, bring it back to the board to approve, motion to approve the revenue report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Go on to the budget to actual. Amy.
Yes, that just shows the budget for each line item in the funds and what's been paid out so far.
Okay, so we're,
It just gives the board an update on each line item of where we're at.
okay, so
Motion to
could you
approve.
just say again, you said it quickly in my hearing, I got my ears blocked for some reason, but what did you say about the budget report when you started?
Yes, this is a detailed report for all three of our funds, each line item, and to see what was budgeted and then what's been paid out so far in each line item, where we're at in more detail.
Right, and I understand that, and I think I've got some clarification on a motion, you know, something the Board of County Commissioners has approved is not quite reflected right in the papers that you have, as far as the reserves and where they are.
Correct. This is when the reports were run.
Right.
We have to run them right before we publish.
Right.
So as of that date.
So
last-
as of right now, what you've received is in
Is-
accordance with the budget that was.
Correct.
Okay. So if we get a motion on the budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the budget as submitted as of this point, budget to actual. Any public comment concerning that? Seeing none, bring it back to the board to approve the budget to actual as provided as of this date. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously, the budget to actual. All right, now we'll do to item 4, which is the marketing reports. And they're asking us to approve the marketing reports listed below. Are you going to go through those, or Amy, or?
I can. We can do them all together or one at a time. I can give you
You've kind of given us a little indication of how things are going, but is there anything you would like to add about January, February, and March concerning the marketing?
One thing that I saw that was consistent is where most of our website traffic is coming from, and all three of the months, it was in this order: Orlando, Miami, and Jacksonville. So when we say Orlando, it's Central Florida. It also includes like the Villages, Celebration, Kissimmee. So that was one thing that was consistent. And we have been doing fantastic, actually above industry average with organic traffic that comes into our website. Obviously, a lot of the top pages are, things to do when you visit, the vacation rental page, events, and restaurants and bars. We had a lot of popular content that we pushed out in February and into March called Bikes, Burgers, and Brews to ramp up for Bike Week. One of the things that we want to continue to improve on is our time on site, that's below industry average, and how many pages people visit on our site while they're on our website. So those are things we're going to keep working on, but social media continues to be our top referral source of how people get to our website. And that pretty much summarizes.
I think you've explained it, but just for me, as far as the marketing that we're doing, since March, you've given us that report. Are things changing as far as how you're doing marketing, or do they continue about the same way you've been doing them?
About the same.
Before I ask for a motion on those three, January, February, March marketing reports, bring it back to the board for any thoughts on this, if anybody has any comments before we go forward.
I would just like to say I really appreciated the campaigns. I thought they were very on task for what was going on in our region and helped capture a lot of people. So thank you.
Then I bring back to the board again for a motion concerning the three January, February, March marketing reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the January, February, and March marketing reports. Open it up to public comment. Anybody want to come forward to speak on that? Seeing none coming forward, bring it back to the board. To approve a motion to approve the January marketing report, February marketing report, March marketing report 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Now we're going to go on to item 5, which is the tax collection update. And Shelley, I believe, Shelley Edmondson will come forward on that.
Morning, everybody. All right. So just wanted to say hi, first of all, this morning, and go over some kind of cool things that our office has done in regards to the tourist department. So I'll give you our active accounts, which last time we talked about what the active accounts means. It's per property, basically. Just if you, I don't even remember what it was last time, but I'm sure it's in the minutes. As of yesterday, we had 1,184 active accounts. As most of you know, we recently, last week, we opened up our new Palm Coast branch office. Our office reached out to as many people as we could, and one of the things that we did was we sent an email out to the tourist taxpayers, just letting them know that our office opened and invited them to come. I'll have you know that several came and reached out to several of us girls that do the collections and wanted to personally meet us. So we have quite a relationship with these folks. So again, I'll just reiterate, any information that you guys want to dish out to them, you know, we can do that for you. Amy's office also provided our office with a link to all of your videos, the Visit Flagler videos. So we also sent that to all the taxpayers and told them, you know, here are these videos, use them, give them to your clients and your rental base to showcase and promote your own rental. They loved it. They loved it. We got a lot of response back that said, thank you, thank you, thank you. We didn't know that stuff was out there. So that was fun. And then last, I'd like to thank Amy's office for providing our office with some promotional items, some Visit Flagler and Palm Coast and the beaches promotional items. Our office is hosting the annual Florida Tourist Development Tax Conference. It's in Daytona this year. I'm the vice president, Renee's the secretary, and we needed goodies, and Amy was kind enough to provide those for us. So it's a conference where all of the folks that do the collections, like our office, get together annually for training. So that'll be fun, and that's it. I just wanted to say thank you.
Shelley, I wanted to say before you leave that
Yes.
the opening of the tax collector office out on Palm Coast Parkway near the old, near the Ace Hardware store is a great addition for the community and much more convenient. It's a larger office, and the event was very nice. It was, anybody who haven't been by there, that's where it is, and in the shopping center there. And it's a very good facility. Now we have one over on 100 that's convenient for the people kind of in the southern part and over on the beach side of the county. And now we have the one out Palm Coast Parkway West, which will help North and the rest of the county. So I think that's all good in addition to the office here. So
Yeah, and
there's
Ms.
three places
Johnston,
people can
Ms.
come.
Johnston did a great job. She wanted to promote the small businesses, so we did a huge campaign just promoting that complex, which appeared to not have many vehicles in it before we came, and now it's filling up. So that's great news for the small businesses in there, so.
No, it was a great event, supports business in the community, and I think there are very few tax collector offices that have so much positive vibe that we can attract a couple of hundred people to come out and celebrate the opening up of a new office. So I think that was really good.
I agree. We had all kinds. We had commissioners and all that, but right down to the taxpayers. The taxpayers were excited to be
Yeah,
there, so.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the report or update. Now we'll go on to item 6, which is the fund. We have 3 funds, the tourist development budget, 9, 10, 11. This is Fund 111 piece, and I believe Amy and Brian are going to give an update on that, because to me, it was a little confusing when it came to the Board of County Commissioners as to exactly how this was being done. But you're going to go through what happened with the
Yes.
payoff and all, and that.
Yeah, I'm going to go over a high level and mainly provide some history because we have board members who are with us now that were not here from the beginning when this all first started. So
Right.
I'm just going to do 3 quick slides to give you a little bit of history and the end result of what the Board of County Commission did a couple meetings ago. And then I have Brian from Financial Services who, God bless him, he manages this budget, so he can help answer any of those more detailed questions. But back in May of 2017, the BOCC approved the recommendation from the TDC to fund the Flagler County Coastline Restoration Projects up to $8 million, plus financing costs from the Beach Restoration Fund. So that's Fund 111. And obviously this,
I hate to cut in, but this has nothing to do with what's going on in Flagler Beach right now.
Correct.
This
Yep.
was
This is-
2017, and
this
this
is
money
a
was
result
all-
of Hurricane Matthew. Yep. So then in August of 2017, the BOCC approved the issuance of debt for the Tourist Development Tax Revenue Bond Series 2017 for the purpose of providing the required matching funds from Flagler County for FEMA and FDEP grants for beach restoration as a result of the damage by Hurricane Matthew. So this project was mainly in the northern part of the county, from Marine Land to close to Beverly Beach-ish.
Beaumont.
So Center State Bank was the lender. They had a fixed rate of 2.39, which was the lowest and best option, and we had the ability to prepay the loan at any time without penalty. The bonds would be amortized over a period of 13 years with a final maturity date of November 1st, 2030. The security for the bonds was the tourist development tax only. In August, a resolution was authorized by the BOCC for the issuance of the Tourist Development Tax Revenue Bond, Series 2017, from Center State Bank in an amount not to exceed $6,560,000 for beach restoration. So in August of 2017, the county took the first draw of that loan of $560,000, and then about a year later did the second draw of the remaining funds of $5,976,000. So earlier this month, the BOCC approved paying off the loan, which was $4.2 million of principal, which made it possible through continuing the TDT collections and the reimbursements that the county received from FEMA and FDEP. So a lot of this money was cash that was needed up front. So paying off this loan ahead of time saved us $500,000. And once all that is, once all that action has taken this next month or so, our remaining balance will be $1.1 million in the Beach Restoration Fund. So that's kind of where we're at. That's all good news. And if you have any more detailed questions about the fund, I have Brian here to help me out.
Okay, Amy, thank you. I was kind of interested in this because when it was presented at the board, it was almost like a consent agenda item, and it's a little confusing. Not all 4.286 mil actually came out of the 111 fund. I think I'm saying, is that correct, Brian? But a lot of it did.
No.
And this was a combination payoff. It's a good thing, but it's real money. I mean, the money, this 4.286 is real money that was provided, and it's a good deal. We're saving money on the long run. I remember in 2017, after Matthew, this was a crisis, and where we were going to get this money to be able to do the 12 miles of the northern part of the county for safety reasons and protection. And so being able to pay this off as soon as we are, I think is a really good thing. But I just want to make sure, because I think at the board meeting, it was like, we brought up some questions, it was a little foggy as exactly how this was happening. And so maybe Brian, just, that's the point I was just trying to make.
All the money is in Fund 111, which is the Tourist Development Beach Restoration.
Right.
Not all of it came from tourist development taxes. We did get reimbursements, as Amy said, from FEMA and FDEP based on the agreement we had with them. FEMA is 75% of the cost from federal government, 12.5% from the state, 12.5% from local. With the FDEP loan, not loan, the FDEP grant, that's a 50-50 match. So,
Right. No, I think it's all good. It's all good news. I just, and I want to make sure people, when they hear this publicly, they think, well, maybe it has something to do with what's going on now. It has nothing to do with what's going on now. This was the 12 miles we did, 6 foot high, 15 feet at the top, 25 feet at the bottom, pile of sand we put on 12 miles of the northern part of the beach. And it's worked. We haven't had flooding, and we haven't had a big storm, but we'll probably have to go back again once we get the southern part done and do the north again. But all that's to be done. But this takes care of what was done in 2017. Okay. Is there any other comments concerning this? Yes.
So we took a loan of 6.5. We're paying back 4.2.
we had already made payments.
Okay.
So we started making the first debt service payment on principal 11/1 of 18.
Okay. So,
And that was a big point for the Fund 111 was going to be tagged with making the payments through 2030.
Right.
This way, that stops, and so we can build that fund up again.
right, so the 1.2 million that's left in Fund 111 is strictly Fund 111, not a loan from or anything like that.
Correct.
Right.
That's what I wanted to know. I wasn't aware of the prepayments, so thank you.
Yeah, we had made a couple payments from the time of the first draw. It was probably a little over 2 million.
About 2.6.
We used reserves and then the collections as we were receiving them to make those payments. Correct? Yeah.
So there is less money in the 111 fund reserves now
Correct.
than was
Once they
presented.
execute all the documents,
beginning of the
we
year.
should see it reflected, and then definitely at the next meeting.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Good. Okay, we're now down to the Fund 110 discretionary event funding applications. We're going to review them and make a recommendation to the board. So the first one, I guess, Amy, you'll be, I don't know if see anybody here, but the first one is the $5,000 for Florida Flag Football Battle of the Badges, June 26th through 27th.
Yes, so those of you that were here in January, the event organizer, Norm McLean, was here to talk about these events. So this is another of his tournaments that he brings, and this one has happened here every summer for quite a while. Estimated around 2,000 attendees, estimated 400 room nights, and he'll be up at the Indian Trail Sports Complex. And the bid request is $5,000.
Any comments from the board on that before we ask for a motion? Or a motion, either one.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
Second. So open it up for public comment. This is on the Florida Flag Football Battle of the Badges. Seeing no public comment. Back to the board for a vote. All those in favor of $5,000 for Florida Flag Football Battle of the Badges, June 26, 27, 2021, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. We go on to second item, $4,000 for a continuing education conference summer session.
Yes, and this event organizer was here in January as well. Walter Ennis for their primary care conference. Deborah went to their spring one a couple weeks ago, every Sunday, including on Easter Sunday, to help welcome the guest and tell them about the area, give them out menus to restaurants, gave them brochures. So he has his summer conference coming in July. Again, this event's been happening. I've been with this organization 10 years, and he was here before I came. So this budget request is $4,000 for the summer conference in July.
Okay, back to the board for comment or a motion.
I make a motion, we approve.
I have a question. Amy, why did he drop the amount to 4,000 when he's been getting 8,000?
Yeah.
All along.
So with the discretionary fund, there's a certain percent that each group can get. So, and that's 33%. So he is a meeting, so there's only a certain amount. And we also are sensitive that there's other meeting types, so we just have to spread the allowable distribution to all those.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a motion, but I need a second to support the $4,000 continuing education conference.
Second.
I have a second from Ken. Open up for public comment. Comment from the public. Therefore, bring it back to the board to approve the $4,000 continuing education conference summer session, July 12th through 16th, 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Okay, go on to item 7C, Florida United Lacrosse.
Yep, this is the annual Father's Day lacrosse tournament that happens every Father's Day. This is the largest sporting event we have each year, hands down. And they've been coming here, same as the continuing education, longer than I've been here. So they are once again looking for some funding assistance, and this year we are requesting $12,500. They are again in that same category where we can only distribute up to 33% for lacrosse events. So we try to spread that out accordingly.
And on all these that are repeats, they have met their requirements with bed nights and all that.
It is a fantastic return on investment.
All right, bring it back to the board, I guess, for comment or motion.
Move to approve.
Hold on, Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain from voting. The Hilton Garden Inn is a host hotel for this event. I cannot vote, but would be happy to answer any questions.
All right.
Same here.
That's noted.
I can't vote as well.
Also,
We have
but
contract.
we still have enough. So we have two non-voting due to connection to the event. Okay, any further comment? All right, so bring it back for a vote to approve the $12,500 for the Florida United Lacrosse LLC Father's Day tournament, June 19th through 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Aye for me. And so it passed unanimously.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
was there a second on that motion?
Here one.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
I
one.
thought,
I approved, I moved
I
to
think
approve.
back when we started and then stopped. What, did you get a second on it? Oh, okay. All right, well, I guess I'll have to go back.
Just for technicality?
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I think we started and stopped. So I need a second on that motion.
I will second the motion to approve.
All right, so we have a second, and I'm going to revote it then. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And no opposed. Okay, good. Now, I don't see Candy here, so Amy, I take it you're going to do the Let's Talk Tourism presentation.
Yes, unfortunately, she is very much so under the weather. So I told her to stay home, and I would try to live up to her.
Very good. I don't know.
She is
Got a
very
tough-
good.
Tough challenge here.
So this is Candy's Dog and Pony Show, so I'll try to give it the respect that it deserves. And this is just a very brief snapshot of what's been going on, but the most important thing and what she's been working on tirelessly is we now have a partner site on our website. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that with you guys, but the main areas that we included was to have an area for Tourism Matters. This is the education of tourism. There's a whole TDC section, our funding programs, available reports, and then partner resources. So this is what it looks like, the tourism partner site. So we have a video here that talks about the importance of tourism. And then these are those different areas. So we have Tourism Matters. So we just give some fast facts, and this just keeps going down the further and further, what we do, who we are. The faces of tourism. This is where we have that handcrafted and homegrown campaign, where we feature all the local business owners. Talk about Dodge the Dunes and responsible tourism. Staff, job postings. And let me see. This talks about our council, the members, our agendas. We'll have it all here as well. And then our funding programs. Last week we had our first workshop for the special event marketing grant. So we'll be working with those applicants the next couple months. And then in July is when we'll bring forward all the applications that we have received for the funding assistance for any special events that folks plan on having the next fiscal year. So when you have time, go through it, because it's very, very informative, and Candy put a lot of work into it. All right. The other thing we are working on and have pushed out in some paid advertising is promoting Turtles, Murals, and More. So put that public art component, and she has been working away with the Turtle Trail. There's
Could I just interrupt you on that Turtle Trail? You know, I've got the old thing we have on that. Now that we have like 13 turtles, are you going to come
Yep.
out with a
Yep,
new one
we're
of
working
these?
on a brochure now. Mhm.
Okay.
And so then there's a whole interactive map. And then she also included all the murals that we have so far in our county for people to come and take the photos, post them on social media, share them, and all the outdoor art as well. Lots of good stuff there. The other thing that is new is she's now created Instagram guides. So Instagram guides is a new feature on Instagram. It gives users an easier way to share and consume recommendations and tips in a very easy to digest format. And this can be used to inspire, tell stories, and give guidance. So this is kind of what it looks like. You have here the guides. Oops. Let's do this one. There we go. So it'll show you almost like in a brochure fashion, like these are the top state parks, or here's the hidden gems of the county to go to. So it's almost like an interactive, right there on the spot, got exactly what it's called, a guide. So these are some of the ones that she's done the past few months. So again, when you get a chance, go check it out. Make sure you follow us on social media. We've also stepped up our advertising and presence on Pinterest. So she just gave a screenshot of two of the campaigns that she's done and the results from those. So lots of good interaction on Pinterest. And then also we have completed another handcrafted and homegrown video with Moonrise Brewing. So I want to show you that.
Like what we love about brewing is that, you know, we could brew a new style tomorrow and it can be out in a couple weeks and it can be totally seasonal and fresh and fun and very local. We have such a unique location. We're located in the European Village, which is really fun. You hang out outside and you can taste a wide variety of our beers that we brew by our brewmaster, and it's all special to us. So Vance Joy is our brewmaster. He really is the mastermind behind all of the beer. He has been studying beer and commercial brewing for a really long time. And Ben and I really run the show, and we're now a family business. So there's not a lot of unique businesses that really make their own product with their hands in-house. But brewing is really an art form and a science. People are really into the idea of going and drinking something local because you can only get it in that one spot. And that's what's so cool about it. It's really fun to try something that like you can't get at home. We have a wide variety of styles of beer, starting from our light Moonlight Blonde Ale, which is a session beer, which basically means it's below 5%, all the way to our Dark Prince, which is our Nitro Milk Stout, which is like smooth, velvety, and a ton of styles in between. We have IPAs, we have sours, we have a pale ale, a red ale, a brown ale. We offer flights, so if you don't know what you want, we can give you samples of anything. You could come and get a flight, which is 4 5-ounce pours of beer, so it's a great way to kind of sample all of the beers that we have. And we try our best to do really cool dishes to pair with those beers. We have gastro-style pub food that's kind of elevated. Everything's made from scratch, and our menu changes seasonally. My favorite thing is the prime rib melt. We roast a whole prime rib and slice it to order, and it is just mouth-watering, absolutely incredible. I'd say probably our top seller is a burger, because who doesn't want to eat a burger with a delicious beer? So we do burger specials every week. Wednesday is like kind of our big burger night. We also have a lot of shareable plates. So we like when people come and order a bunch of different things, can all sit down together and enjoy our Brussels sprouts, our cauliflower, our nachos. We're a restaurant, so people of all ages come in here, and it's really welcoming environment for everyone. It is the destination spot. It's where you want to go when you're on vacation. We are Moonrise Brewing Company, handcrafted and homegrown in Palm Coast.
Is that it? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to just ask if we have companies such as that, because we have a brewery right there in Flagler Beach, and they are trying to get out there and get started. Would they contact you for a similar type of video?
Yeah, they can contact our office. This type of campaign we're wrapping up. We just finished our last one. We've been doing it for over a year now, so we're kind of at the tail end of that, but there's always video and other promotional opportunities. Yep.
It's Coquina Brewery. And,
Yep.
the only
Candy's
one
met
that-
them.
Right, so
Yep.
they're doing a good job, and a lot of people are starting to hang out there, and the clientele's starting to really grow.
Yes, glad to have them.
Okay.
And then, one of the videos that Candy's put together is in response to the crisis that we have with finding workers. And we just thought it was important to remind potential visitors and residents that, be patient, and we're thankful that you're here, and we're doing the best that we can. So we already had a lot of all this footage, so she just sliced and diced and put the footage together to create this quick video.
Welcome back to beautiful beaches, outdoor adventure, unforgettable experiences, and that homegrown hospitality we're known for. Our small businesses can't thank you enough for the support you've given them when they needed it most. They're working hard every day to give you the very best experience possible, but they're still recovering, and like others nationwide, many are short-staffed. Please exercise patience and embrace that laid-back on island time vibe when you visit Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches.
So we just have been sharing that as well, and we get free models from Mr. Lugerai. And Mama.
Free
Top tier,
talent.
top
Yeah,
tier.
free talent.
Free talent, always needed.
So that concludes the marketing update that Candy had prepared for you, and I'll take any other questions that you may have with regards to marketing.
Again, Candy does a great job, so I
Yep.
appreciate all the time and effort she puts into looking for new things.
Yes, we're very lucky
She's
to have her.
always done very professionally and interestingly. Videos are always good.
Yeah, she wrote the script herself, and obviously that was her voice, so,
Very soothing.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Much needed response to.
Yes,
especially the
we're
work.
trying to do what we can, to address that.
So any other questions on the Let's Talk Tourism presentation? If not, we'll go on to item 9. Again, Amy, Tourist Development Office update.
Sorry. It's a lot of Amy. I just have a few things I wanted to share with you guys to give you an update on. First thing, before I get yelled at from across the way, I have to read something into the record. Due to COVID, the Sisters Across America Golf Tournament was approved by the TDC on November 20th, 2019, and ratified by the BOCC on December 2nd, 2019. That will change the date of the event to now take place on October 21st through 24th, 2021. So this is an event that was approved and scheduled prior to COVID, and now they have the new dates of October of this year. So we just want to read that into the record, and we carry over their funding into the next fiscal year.
Okay.
All right, one of the items I wanted to give you an update on is our progress on the Arts and Cultural and Historical Council that was created as a result of our strategic plan, that initiative. So Deborah's been in charge of this, so she has met with several of the groups already to get their take on it and their assistance. We've also have spoken to and met with the president of the St. John's Cultural Council to get some feedback and guidance from them, and also the head of cultural affairs in Tallahassee. So we've been doing a lot of due diligence, and where we're at now is an email has been sent out to all the partners, all the organizations that fall under arts, history, cultural, performing arts, all the mediums, to let them know that we're looking to create a local arts agency, a board, a 501c3. And this will be independent. This is not run by the TDC. But we are looking for them to form this board and then take it before the Board of County Commission to be officially designated. This will allow them to apply for those state grants. They also would receive funding from the TDC, and it would be in the form of an agreement. So they would receive X amount of dollars for X amount of years, and then, of course, they would give us updates, show reports, and their progress. So instead of them receiving grants, each individually, it would just kind of be one pot and allow the board to decide how they want to distribute it. So in July, we will have made much more significant progress when we meet again, and we'll continue to update you, even if it's through email, where we're at with that. But that's been something that we've been looking to get off the ground and was just kind of put on pause because of COVID. So legislation session, we have about a week and a half to go, ends April 30th. There is some tourism legislation out there, but probably the most critical one is legislation that would expand the use of the TDT and allow for flood mitigation projects or improvements. It had passed already in the House, but has not been heard in the Senate, but that does not mean that it's dead. There are several procedural steps that leadership could use to move the bill or eventually the House bill. So just as a reminder, the TDT is intended to promote and advertise to tourists. And of course, the industry opposes any expansion of the TDT funds for projects. Of course, if it starts with flooding, and then it could open it up for others.
What's the latest you're hearing on that? Is it still making, I think you said it's still making progress or not?
Well, it was passed in the House.
The House has passed.
Yes. Yes. There is a Senate bill, but so far it's not scheduled to be heard. But again, that doesn't, like I
They're
said,
just
doesn't
about-
mean it's dead.
If it hasn't been heard yet in the Senate, probably means it's not going to happen.
Well, we want to keep engaged with Senator Hudson, and thank you to everyone who reached out to him and voiced their opposition. Our job is to use these TDT funds to bring visitors to our community. The other legislative items is the public records exemption, Visit Florida, being able to release them from being sunsetted, and vacation rentals. But if we had to pick, we are currently being pretty aggressive with that expansion of the TDT dollars. So I'll keep everyone, I'll pass on the information as I get it, but very important. The last item I wanted to share with you is to let you know that May 2nd through 8th is National Travel and Tourism Week. And we are scheduled to be on the Board of County Commission agenda on May 3rd, where we receive a proclamation acknowledging National Travel and Tourism Week. And we're also going to show the Faces of Tourism video. So this year, especially with the crisis of everyone being short-staffed, we really, really want to focus almost all of our efforts, especially since we're short-staffed, of focusing on those frontline workers that are there, that have showed up. So normally we would try to do a component where we educate the visitors, educate the residents, but this year it's all hands on deck pretty much for showing that appreciation. So we've asked our tourism partners to send us photos of their employees with their names, because Candy's going to put together a really cool video, and we're going to share that and blast that all over social media, show it in the commission meeting. So if you haven't yet sent photos of your employees, please do so to Candy or myself. During that week, staff has dedicated themselves to going out to as many tourism businesses as we can. And what we've done is we've purchased branded travel, travel pouches, and we've filled them with goodies. And we are going to basically blitz the county, load up our cars, the trucks with these goodies, and take them and personally thank all of them for what they do. It's not much, but I think, it's a little, sometimes just goes a long way, just being acknowledged. We also got approval to have message boards put out where it will thank the hospitality workers. So as they're coming over the bridge or entering the county on the south end, it'll just thank the tourism and hospitality workers. So be sure to thank them while you're out at their businesses. If you're getting service at a restaurant, thank the waiters and the waitresses, everyone, the hostesses, for what they do. Thank them for showing up. And of course, thank your staff as well, because we wouldn't be able to brag about our customer satisfaction rating, which, as you recall, when we did our annual research, it was 9.1 out of 10, which is one of the highest ones our research company has ever seen. So we want to keep that rating, and it's because of them who day in and day out deal with the people that make us look so good. So with that, I'll take any other questions.
I just wanted to add that we did hear this week the vacation rental or state action on that is not going to happen this year, so things will stay as they are. So there's no change there. Other comments on the board concerning the update?
Yeah, I just want to thank Amy for being out front with the House bill and everything, and making sure that all of us understood the importance of writing those letters, making those phone calls. It is a dangerous little bill that could really take our monies away. And if it spreads our money thin, then we wouldn't be able to do the things that we did with 111, because it's getting used elsewhere. So we need to try to keep that money focused on what it needs to be.
Anybody else? All right, so we've now reached item 10, which is community outreach. 30-minute time has been allotted at the end of the meeting for public comment. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the board on items not on the agenda. Please come forward and identify yourself.
Can I take the mask off?
Yes.
Well, good morning, council members. I'm Dr. Steve Davidson. Some of you know me. I am currently representing the Flagler County Corvette Club, and we are planning to resurrect our car show, which we couldn't have because of COVID last year. And in that regard, we're trying to do a COVID mitigation plan, which we have submitted to Dr. Bickle and to Bob Snyder, and I have letters of endorsement for what that plan is. One of the parts of the plan is to cap the number of cars and to socially distance the cars and really the people in the cars, okay? So we need to spread out and make more room. And then there's a bunch of other things that have to do with whatever the CDC guidelines would be. This would be in October of this year, October 10th. So in one way, we're looking at controlling and keeping it small. On the other hand, I attended Amy's workshop the other day, the Zoom workshop, and looked at the new TDC grant application. And I was noticing in terms of your rankings that we would fall pretty low because we're a small event, and that it looked like you were really trying to get, well, according to your application, 10,000 people or 400 room nights or 5,000 visitors or down to 2,500, which is what we would be doing, and 100 or more room nights. So we know we can meet probably that third one. But the question is the values and how we should go about planning our event, looking at either growing it, because we have, for years past, applied and received some funding from TDC, which we will want to again, because our promotion is going to be out of county, out of state, to other Corvette clubs all around the area, Corvette aficionados, aftermarket companies that make supply parts for Corvettes, all that kind of stuff. So I guess what I'm looking for is guidance from you all in terms of how we should evaluate growing the show, and then maybe not really being as close to our mitigation guidelines, which is more important for you all and for us, because we want to keep us and the visitors safe. It is an outside event, so at least we don't have that, that's something that qualifies it better. So I'm just looking for some guidance and feedback, because we really want to get the show going. And I'll just take questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll bring it back to Amy first. A couple of things here. I think one of the questions I think a lot of people are beginning to have now as we get towards more openness and freedom here as we approach summer, end of spring and summer, if somebody like the Corvette Club is saying that if all things were normal, we could have 300 cars. I'm just coming up with any club. 300 cars and 10,000 people and 250 nights. But because of COVID, right now, we can't go that far. So if they're coming in for tourist dollars to support their show, should they come in for the larger number and then cut it back later, or because we don't meet that often in the board here. So I think that's one of the questions is how you want to continue to plan, because if you don't plan and you don't meet deadlines with these various organizations, then the thing falls apart and you can't have it. So is that kind of a general question for you or the board, is how are we going to go about this? Because this is going to happen more and more as we approach here, as we move into the spring and summer. So just maybe a thought on that.
Chairman, my understanding when we voted to do it this way was that that's what the workshops would be for, is to help guide them and help answer their questions, because we were flooded in July with, 40 million of them, and really taxed with time on understanding each of them and stuff like that. So we agreed as a board to have the workshops, correct? And that the staff would be the ones to help direct the event people and help make sure they met the qualifications and help them with the knowledge. Of course, all of that was done before COVID happened.
Right, yeah, I know, and
So-
that's what I'm getting at, is that, for instance, supposing a club comes in and they say, we're going to provide 150 bed nights, but then the CDC guidance continues and they can't do that. So I guess they could,
So,
how do we adjust the money either way? Do we have
yeah.
to do it make it big enough up front that you can cut back, or do you go the other route? To me, seems hard to increase it quickly.
Okay, so I pulled up here the what I believe he's speaking about. So there's the different categories.
Right.
So there is a huge difference between the 10-point and the 20-point, between 2,500 and 5,000 day visitors. So I believe most folks, even in COVID or without COVID, they're going to be around the same area. So I don't believe the Corvette group, even in non-COVID, maybe had more than 2,500 visitors. I don't know, but so even if he gets 50 or he gets 2,000, he's still to 10 points. I think Ms.
Right.
Walker was.
Yeah, can I make a comment, seeing as I work in international tourism? Across the board, every state, every county, every country has different rules. The CDC makes up all these rules, but then each state has their own rules. So I don't think it's so much dependent on what the CDC says at this point in time, because they have different rules for meetings, they have different rules for churches, so on and so forth. In every state, it's all different. So my point is, I would go for whatever you want to do, because things are changing. It's not stationary. Things change every week, every day. It's just something I would, if you're trying to go for larger, I would market for larger, because who knows what the rules will be in October. State rules, CDC rules. I mean, it's all over the board, so you don't really know. So I would plan for maximum attendance. That's what I would do. People are marketing for maximum attendance as well.
I think we had Ken. Did you?
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve came before the Flagler Beach City Commission a couple of weeks ago with a request, and I'd met with them prior to that. I own a Corvette. I've attended this show for many, many years. And it is a very good venue, and we did give them guidelines, we being the board, because of where we're located there and the specific guidelines that we have at Flagler Beach, following some of the recommendations that they had, which was to reduce the number of participants, provide masks, hand sanitizer, and these kinds of things here, which we thought met the criteria of what we thought would keep the people in Flagler Beach safe as well. So I guess we're looking at, if they were going to increase it, it would probably be next year, because this year we're talking about as far as October, because we asked them to come back within another month or so, because we'll have a better idea of where we're going to, because the numbers did go up at Flagler, particularly because of Bike Week. So that alarmed some of my particular fellow leaders as well. So I guess the bottom line is that we are limited at Flagler Beach as the number of cars that could probably be there, unless it took up the entire waterfront and that kind of area there, which, I mean, I'm all for it, but I guess we would be limited as well, which means that they would also have to consider moving the venue to someplace in the county itself if you were going to go with more than 250, 300 cars or something of that nature.
Lisa?
Sure.
And I just wanted to agree that you would be subject to whatever the CDC says wherever you go. So when you have your guests, like we've had them over the thousands of years or however, you guys are always there. They had to, if they're at a Hilton, they have to do exactly what Hilton says. We don't make people social distance their cars in the parking lot, but we do try to make sure the Corvettes are safe. So I wouldn't underestimate my event, because Bike Week was very successful. Just make sure that everybody, of course, if you stayed with me and Ryan, you would have a contract with us anyway. So just make sure that they would follow the Hilton guidelines, and that's all that we ask. Because normally when people come in, they do what they want anyway after you book the event. As far as being safe, safety is their own personal issue at that point, but that's the only thing that we would ask. And then stay in the guidelines of what they say as far as where you can park the car if the event is at the beach. But I think that everybody would come like they normally would. So if it's going to be the same, like Amy said, where you're down, but like on that 10 points, I would go for it.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, yes, we're friendly here, but you have to come forward if you're going to do that. You or Steve.
The good news is that amongst my other credentials, I have a master's in public health and in epidemiology and stuff, and I wrote the guidelines for this show based on my knowledge of what my colleagues at the Harvard School of Public Health have said for outdoor events at that time. But I wrote the guidelines also, acknowledging that the guidelines would then be same as whatever was in effect at the time, because we're talking about an unknown October, okay? But if we do, and we would love to grow it, and based on a particular car show, the car show people, not just Corvette people, are desperate to get out and show their cars and have fun. And there was a small event in St. Augustine, Sid Hobbs, who has a museum up there, and it was supporting a little high school athletic department. And they usually get about 50, 60 cars, and that day, 160 people showed up. So, I mean, this is just an untapped desire to do this, and I think this show could grow much bigger. But because of the limitation of really trying to space it out and the small area, you know, at Flagler Beach, we may wind up having to move it if we were going to grow it. And then growing it would put us back into more, you know, eligibility for TDC grant money, which we have always had. So I kind of hear it going like, okay, back off maybe on the, or you don't know the unknown of the guidelines for mitigation, so keep on going as far as you can go with growing it. So, I mean, maybe that's the direction we need to go in. We're going to be there tomorrow night to see you guys again.
Looking forward to it.
And it'll be the same discussion. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It seems to me, just talking, and Amy can, and the rest of you can, is that the time has come where we just have to start moving forward, because planning any of these events takes time, and you can't change it at the last, it's hard to change things at the last minute. So, for instance, our next meeting is, what would be, Amy?
July.
So their request has to probably be all in and ready for approval by then. You would have it.
Yes, the due date, I think, is early June for them, yeah.
So,
But we can meet with him one-on-one. There's actually more opportunity to get more funding than they had in the past. And, you know, don't get caught up in that particular points, because I know it's maybe through CDC or whatever cities you're working with, they may have a cap for you, and that may at first scare you to think that's going to impact your score, but I truly believe, and I can go back and look at your history of attendees, you would be in 10-point category. But that is just one small segment, because everything else, it doesn't matter if you have 50 people or 5,000, 10,000 people, it is in section number 2, 3, and 4, you have the ability to score all highs. So don't get too caught up in that number. Whether you have 10 cars or 100 cars, you'll still be in that 10-point, and you'll be able to, you know, really shine in the other categories. And there's that deadline date of when you can come in and sit with us one-on-one. So just reach out, and we'll walk you through everything. And lunchtime.
Okay. But back, and the other side of this is most of these events also, once we bring it through here, it has to go to the Board of County Commissioners or the Flagler County or the city. And so it's a time-consuming administrative process in addition to all the planning that has to go on for the event itself. So I just think I think the word from our county, committee right now is push their planning ahead, because if you don't, you're into 2022.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of lucky because his event is at least October. So he kind of has an idea. I mean, there's events that are going to be this time next year, and they're, they'll have a bigger challenge because there's, even further away from the world. But here's the timeline. So the application deadline is June 11th. Yep. And then you have until June 4th to meet with us one-on-one after you've watched the workshop or attended the workshop and have additional questions, or you just want to sit down with us and, hey, am I doing all this right? Is this all the information? What can I do better? That's when we can provide that one-on-one up until June 4th.
Okay. Any other, yes, come forward. And
Morning, Council. It's good to see you again. I'm Steve Wolf. I was president for the 2 terms preceding Steve Davidson. I ran the previous 2 Corvette shows, and I'm running this one as well. As you might imagine, this takes a whole lot of planning, and we're behind right now. So there's going to be an added dimension of hurry up and get all of the tasks that are normally done compressed into a shorter period, along with using first-time volunteers, because some people to the club are new and some of them have never done this before. Other members in the club that have decided to finally step up haven't done it before either. So there's training and lots of other preparation, fundraising being one of those. So some of you, like John, have seen us fundraising, and I wanted to point out that all or most of the funds raised from the show will wind up going to charities, and we, as a club, decided long ago to ensure that all of that money stays in Flagler County. And I can list a few of those if you like, Pink Army being a large recipient, and the Family Life Center being another large one. So just wanted to make it clear that we're trying to have a holistic local view, and we also want to maintain that CDC perspective, because as you know, Corvettes have always been a toy of mainly affluent folks, more so now than ever, and that kind of places that demographic into senior citizens. Last year, we anguished over whether to hold a show or not with that COVID specter hanging over us. And we opted not to because of the senior citizen component. And as president and show chair, then I could not live with myself if there was a single health emergency that arose from that show, whether it could be directly attributed or not. And I even consulted with Steve, and he spoke to the board at that time and used his expertise to help steer us so that we just canceled. But this year, we have to go with what we know at this time. So we're trying to keep the show a little bit smaller and socially distanced, et cetera, because that's the information we have at this time. But the venue, of course, is still an issue. So that's one reason why we're so late getting started. We have to procure the venue. Is there anything else I can talk to you about? Any questions?
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
If I can give a recommendation to you guys is go as large as you can manage. If you find the venue, I mean, socially distancing outside, you know more than me and probably the majority of us on the board up here. So go as large as you can manage. If you find the volunteers or the people to work, God bless you. Send some my way.
All right. We're still in the community outreach, but I think that's it. Nobody else is here. So we'll go on to item 11, board comments, and I'll start with Lisa and come through the board. Any additional commentaries?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm glad that everybody in the county recognizes that we have this crisis on employees. So I know that we have started telling everybody to be patient when they go to the different businesses and visit, because I still send people to all of our businesses that, that have anything to do with my business. Because the issue with the employees is very serious. I don't know what the state or the county is going to do, but it's critical at best for us to keep that 9.1 or whatever it is in customer service. We need to have qualified employees who want to work, and I just don't know what we're supposed to do after that, because this is a downside of COVID. While the county is in the business, we're making an extraordinary amount of money. It is causing a toll on all the people working. So I just wanted to second what Amy said, say thank you and really show that you appreciate the tourism and hospitality workers, because the people that are coming to work, they are on adrenaline. And they care about the county, they care about the job, they care about where they live, so they're doing the best that they can, but it's becoming really hard. So I hope by the time that we meet the next time, that's not the thing that we have to talk about. On the positive side, yay, we're making a whole lot of money.
Okay, I have to say, as a commissioner, that I know I've talked to Johnny and all, we haven't done a whole lot to fix this problem. It's a very difficult problem. The only little hope, I think, is that our governor is aware of the problem. And recently, he is trying to hold the line on unemployment insurance and put some limits on it. As long as we keep increasing, and I know it's statistically hard to prove and all that, but as long as we keep increasing the length of time and the amount of money that people who are not working can draw, it becomes very difficult. I think that is one of the factors, only one of the factors why it's more difficult to find employees at the entry level. But if if they're drawing unemployment insurance, it's hard to motivate them. The good employees hang in there, I think, and so forth. So I noticed in the paper this morning, at the state level, they're trying to restrict increases in the unemployment compensation, and it's hard because those are really tough choices to make because people are still hurting. But in our county, I think that may help a little bit. I wish there was an easy solution. I don't know about benefits and how that's going to work. I think from my experience in the company back home in New York, when first we had the Arnold Baker bread delivery trucks, and they couldn't get insurance because they were independent operators. So local insurance company had to be, my family insurance company got into that business and started providing, insurance that way, kind of through a private organization, because the big companies didn't want to take it on. The problem in that is who's backing the money up on that and all that kind of thing. So I acknowledge the problem. I think we all acknowledge the problem. I don't have a great solution, I'm sorry. But I think time will help, and you business owners know a lot more about this and what's going on. I notice we continue to see notes in the paper about restaurants saying we can't open up Saturday and Sunday. We just don't have the people to do it. It was true on Easter and so on and so forth. So other than the short-term CARES money, we've got some more CARES money coming in, and there may be some benefit there, but that's just short-term. That doesn't solve the longer-term problem involved. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Isn't Florida, though,
What?
like I thought I read, like Florida is like the third lowest, like unemployment benefits.
But it's all relative.
It's like $275 a week or
Yeah,
something?
it's all relative. I mean, yep, I think that's all
Because
true.
I mean, personally,
But our
I guess
unemployment rate's pretty low, too.
I must be pretty lucky at my hotel because we don't have a shortage. So, I mean,
Don't have a shortage.
I need banquet help because we're booking all kinds of events, but I'm fully staffed in housekeeping, I'm fully staffed at front desk, maintenance.
And you provide benefits to those
Of
people.
course. Now, I've had the people that I've hired in the last 30 to 45 days, I've had to up their hourly wage maybe 50 to 75 cents than I previously would have. But they're working and I'm staffed and rooms are getting cleaned and, so, but I know, with Johnny and Scott from Tortugas, what they're doing, I mean, and I had family here a couple weeks ago and we went to Flagler Beach and I mean, we had to leave one place because it was like 2 hours before we could get our food, so it's a huge issue. There's no doubt about it.
Anything else? Okay.
Well, I'm fully employed because it's me.
Well, that's not the only issue.
No, I know. But as far as tourism is coming back, I'm seeing it every day, and I'm thankful for our group here representing all the businesses in Flagler Beach and Flagler County, because I think y'all are doing a great job. I was at Johnny's a couple of weeks ago, And he must have had 50 or 100 people out in front of the restaurant. I turned around and went home. Next time I called him.
We're open.
Me either.
That's it.
That's it.
We're good.
Nick?
I have nothing,
City-
Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Ken?
Yeah, I have a few items here. What we've done at Flagler Beach, we've increased the hours on the pier from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And we did this on a 2-month type basis to see what the revenues would be, because one of the things we're looking at is trying to increase the revenue that's on the pier itself, because right now we're having to fund the pier at a deficit out of the general fund. So we're looking at ways in order to increase the participation in their services at the pier. So we'll see how that goes. We've also increased the appearance of the A-frame by putting a new frame on it, a new roof on it, and also cleaning up the front of it and doing some other things to try to enhance the appearance of the beach itself and eliminate some of the blight that I call it. So we're working diligently on that. One of the things that I've also started to work on was actually a volunteer group to start working on Veterans Park in order to, again, clean that up, make it more appealing to the tourists and people that are coming, because it's been sort of an eyesore. We do have a new city manager coming on the 1st of May. We can't wait to get him on. Mr. Whitson, very, very talented gentleman. We're looking at ideas and areas in which we can get grant money in order to help with a number of projects within the city itself. Tomorrow, we're kicking off a program which has to do with a competitive type program, and I'll bring it up here real quick. And it's the Florida, it's the monthly contest for the cleanest beaches of 21. So we're actually going to have a roaming type plaque that will go from different walkovers and restaurants and encourage people to clean the beaches up and help keep them clean. I actually introduced a ordinance 2 weeks ago to my fellow commissioners that has to do with litter and waste, because we didn't have an ordinance that prohibited litter and waste. That will be read for the second reading tomorrow. Hopefully my fellow commissioners will adopt it. It covers everything from waste all the way down to cigarette butts. Every month we have a huge project of going around on the beach, cleaning it up. One of the biggest culprits we have are the cigarette butts. A little research, and I think we all know that the cigarette butts cause a lot of problems with the wildlife as well as fish. The fish are eating it, it's getting into our foods and this kind of thing here. So effective after tomorrow, it'll be a $100 fine if you're caught putting a cigarette butt on the streets or in the beaches. The first warning will probably tell you to pick it up. After that, you get a fine. And we're looking at some other creative ways of trying to deal with that. And I also participated with one of the group out of Jacksonville called Beaches Go Green, and ordered 50 cigarette butt receptacles that we'll be putting in strategic places around the beach itself. After tomorrow, I'm also going to encourage a lot of the businesses to be more proactive and put receptacles out in front of their businesses. And I can name a few of them, not yours, but you walk by there and there are cigarette butts all over the place, and people are just totally trashing our city up. So we're going to have a big campaign in order to try to turn that around and build some pride within the city itself. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I pulled this off last night. I subscribed to the Small Business Administration's webinars and this is one here, is Restaurant Revitalization Fund Grant Program. And if you don't know about it, it's basically some money that's going into restaurants that were having a hard time during COVID, where they'll be able to apply for it. So I just thought I'd mention that. If they're not aware of it, I'd be happy to forward the email to them. That's about all I have for right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
I have
John?
a question for Ken.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much lately about the proposed hotel.
It's still in the
It's
works.
Still in the works?
Yeah, they're still working, the owners are still working with their developer and funding and this kind of thing here. It's not dead. It's hopefully still alive.
Because I know it passed, like,
Yes.
the first hurdle, I
did.
think.
It went
so.
through planning and zoning board type review, and then it went before the commissioners, and we approved it as well. So it is moving forward, and there are a couple of people I've talked to that said, there's obviously a lot of planning that goes into that kind of facility. So as far as we know, it's still on the books. They did find out that they had an issue before with the underground parking lot, and they found out they don't have as much water as they thought they were going to have. So they won't have to deal with as much pumping out or this kind of thing, or storage of water. But hopefully it'll continue to move forward, and increase their tax revenue and Flagler Beach as well as Tourist Development Council and the like.
Okay, thanks. John?
Speaking from the Flagler Beach Business Bureau, yeah, the majority of our businesses in Flagler Beach, specifically in the restaurants, we are very short-staffed. We saw a huge increase to sales and revenue. Right, I would say at the end of February and March, we had the best bike week ever. The majority of the Flagler Beach businesses, it seemed like that we just got a lot of traffic out. And a lot of people don't realize that since the announcement of the minimum wage increase last year is when we've all been trying to come together to figure out a way how we're going to attract employees. Earlier in the year, I had a pretty big presentation. It was the biggest meeting that we've ever had for FB3. I had every single politician from local to federal to state, and I had their people there hearing, hey, what's the biggest problem that tourism industry has? Not so much from the hoteliers, because we tend to lose our hourly employees to anyone that can offer benefits. Restaurants, we don't operate, mom and pop restaurants, we don't operate with this huge budget or even, I mean, when it comes to revenue, we're not able to afford benefits. And one of the biggest pushes I had, especially with COVID, hey, the people that are working right now, regardless of the job that you have, those are the ones that should be surplus or given some kind of benefits, as opposed to the people that are staying home. Our people are putting themselves on the front lines each and every day. They're working their tail off. And as businesses, we can only afford to stipend and give them so much. And what I want to do for my employees, I want them to feel secure. I want them to know that, hey, if I have a job, I'm going to be able to take care of my kids, or especially we tend to lose a lot of employees to any major corporation that offers the benefits. And, you know, one of the biggest pushes was, hey, that $250 or $275 a week that the state unemployment is giving, let's turn that into an employment benefit. Because if I had $275 per employee each week, I could offer them real PPO-style benefits, 401ks, and even do a match at that point to where, hey, they have a real chance. If they want to stay in the tourism industry, which a lot of people truly love taking care of people. I love it. That's why I'm in that business, right? And for the most part, bringing the awareness of, hey, there's a shortage because of multiple reasons, right? COVID, obviously, there are people that want to stay home because they're scared, or they have someone dependent on them that has autoimmune deficiencies or diseases, which is great. We need to take care of those people. And on the other side of things, really just trying to promote, for the most part, safety right now. I think we've all learned so much with COVID. I think outdoors, you shouldn't have to have a mask on if you're walking around. The majority of people that need vaccinations probably already got them, and I'm really looking forward to that next step of moving forward, being a lot more open, and not playing this game to where I feel like it's so politicized now when it comes to COVID, and it just sucks because so many people are taking advantage of, and rightfully so. $575 a week is the $275 for state unemployment, and then federal the $300, so that's $575 a week, and that's clearing, that's in their pockets. So we're talking about a $22 an hour that people are staying home making, and for someone like me, when I'm used to paying my line cooks $15 to $20 an hour, and now they want, because they can stay home. My dishwashers that normally, we never paid no one less than $10, $11 an hour, but now if I'm not paying them $14, $15, and you gotta remember, our budget, the 48 points that we tend to make, well, now I have to increase my menu prices significantly to even be close to that. And if I try to do that, well, now we deal with that whole other aspect to where I'll continue to lose guests and people because we're outpricing our locals, and it sucks because I see a lot of the people that dine with us 5 and 6 years ago, and now like, well, Johnny, you know, your burger's it's too expensive, or it's too this, and I'm like, well, I don't want to buy frozen crab patties, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. So that's what restaurants are dealing with right now. It's the best and worst time. Hey, we got sales that usually solves the majority of the problems, but a lot of us business owners, we're not in business to break even. We're not a not-for-profit, so we're just trying to find that happy medium, and the most part, getting the awareness out. But also, I mean, between the federal unemployment stipend, it's crazy to me that we have to battle our government. And that's why on the boards that I tend to be on, less restrictions. Let people, professionals that, hey, they're not going to put people at risk. They know what they're doing, and if they do put people at risk, or if they just try to overbuild, hey, you know what, it's going to fall on them. And I want people to learn from their mistakes, as opposed to we're so we're pushing so much safety. The government's here for you. The government's going to protect you. That bothers me a lot. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more accountability held on, the private citizens, and that's what I have been pushing lately, and I've been speaking up more and more about. And it stinks because I also get that other, the negative side for speaking out. But more importantly, I think the majority of us businesses, we're sticking together, and it's getting so bad to the point to where when I see our local restaurants closing down for 1, 2, or even 3 days, or even on a weekend, that's very troublesome. And restaurants are closing down. That's troublesome. So it's to the point to where there's something very big that's going to have to happen. And even if it's an organized shutdown to where we all have to go to Tallahassee or something to really shake things up, which that's not what we want to do. That's not who we are. We want to handle this as professional as possible. And I just think overall, I appreciate the fact that tourism is very quick to help promote, hey, this is what's going on, people. Give people a chance, or especially businesses in general right now, because each and every one of us, we're having a difficult time for the most part. And if I had Hilton kind of money, well, I would hopefully not be short-staffed, but for the most part, I appreciate everyone on this board and the comments. And I needed to learn from Ryan a little bit more about what they're doing, because you can massage people so much, but it really is crazy. Everyone is truly overworked or overextended at this point, from real estate agents that I talked to that are pulling their hair out all the way to, us restaurants. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you. And Alicia?
Hey, well, I'm in it with the rest of you. We do offer benefits, but at the same time, we're still short-staffed. We had 5 weeks of sold out, COVID level, sold out, but sold out. Our people working 6 days a week, some of them 7, but 6 days a week and putting in more than 10 hours a day. So finding employees is definitely a problem. And I'll just tap the political side of it. You can all smack me later. It doesn't help when our community doesn't provide entry-level housing. It's very hard. Some of our employees are coming from Hastings, they're coming from Daytona. They're driving Jacksonville to get to us because they can't find a place they can afford in Palm Coast. So for those of you that are listening on the video, yes, I said it. Palm Coast is not friendly to the entry-level people. And I think we're going to have to start there for us as well.
Good points. I think they're all valid, and I wish I had more answers. I do think that at the state level, our governor is aware. He's trying, but he's fighting a tough battle too, because he has to deal with all the rules and regulations that we all have to deal with. So I think that the entry housing is a big factor in this too, and we're coming up with some new ideas on that at the county level. They'll be presented shortly. And I know in Palm Coast, you guys are working those issues, and it's a serious issue. It has to be. We have to make progress in that, or our growth and our ability to have a good tax base and all that just will start to evaporate. And so I agree with it. I don't know. You can agree, but what's the solution? I think we're still. I mean, I think part of the solution is everybody gets vaccine and we get back to normal. That's one part of it. But I think some of these stay-at-home, people just working from home, they see their fellow young people working from home, and they go, well, you know what? Why should I have to go in and kill myself? So I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because we're about at the end. I'll open it up for if any other comments. We're going to close up here shortly. Amy, thank you for doing all the work today. And tell Candy she continues to do a great job. And Deborah, thanks for being here, and so on and so forth. So thank you all for being here. I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
And we're adjourned. We are adjourned at this time.